All right, we are now here live. If you want to hold that, what I'm thinking is just to go up here and walk around
Okay.
and just say what's going on, what this is. About 10 minutes or so.
Sure. I got it.
We're here at the Air Force Space and History Museum here right outside Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. I'm Dave Dickinson, astroguys.com, and I thought I would just do a quick walk around at the museum. This is a free museum here in Central Florida. We've been here. We were here for the SpaceX launch, or not the SpaceX launch, but we were here for the most recent Cygnus Orbital Sciences launch. There is a SpaceX launch. I got SpaceX on the brain because SpaceX is headquartered right outside here, at least their command center for Cape Canaveral. And I thought I would just walk around here and show you what's here. This is just basically a one-room museum, but it's kind of cool, free place. Up here we've got all the launch pads, all the way from LC-1 all the way through. It's kind of interesting how they laid everything out sequentially, all the way out through to LC-47 and the active ones, and they actually show which ones are active now, who's using what, and who SpaceX and where they're headquartered, and they got the models of the SpaceX rockets. We've got all the very early stuff in the space program. This isn't an actual Mercury capsule that went into space. This is a boilerplate capsule. This was a capsule that was used for helicopter training. It's just kind of an empty weight. But you can kind of see the size of the Mercury capsule. The astronauts used to say the Mercury capsule was more worn than flown because it's so small. It only carried one astronaut. And this was just something that they would use for helicopter training to pick up the capsule in the water afterwards. And it kind of goes chronologically here too, the way they've been laid out, all the pads, and up through the Mercury and Gemini program. And we've got another ablation test re-entry module here for a lot of the ICBMs. They don't launch ICBMs here anymore, but they used to test them very early on in the space program in the Cold War. This was kind of interesting down here. Let's skip ahead.
So we have 5 people kind of tuning in.
Interesting.
No one's commented yet, but got some company. Oh, 6. We're up to 6.
I didn't get it. It goes out over Twitter, but I didn't get any kind of heads up that I was going to do this today even. So this is kind of interesting here from the dinosaur program. This was something that was a precursor to the shuttle, and they never actually flew. This was actually the aerodynamic tester that they would haul up and drop just to test the flight characteristics
Hearts.
of the dinosaur.
Thanks for the hearts, guys.
Yeah, and this was from McDonnell Douglas, and it's kind of interesting. The dinosaur program never really took off. Anybody just joining in, we're at the U.S. Air Force Space and History Museum outside of Cape Canaveral right now, and it's a free museum right outside the gate. Unfortunately, the tours onto Cape Canaveral, there is a tour that you can take to go on the base. The tour has been closed recently because of force protection concerns. The FPCON's up in Bravo right now, so it's been closed the last 6 months. I've been here in Florida for 6 years, and I've never got the tour onto Cape Canaveral. I've always wanted to get it. It's something you got to kind of get by appointment, and it's kind of catch as catch can, whether they have seats or not. The guide here was telling me they may be doing a tour pretty soon, what they call the Sunward Tours over on there. I wrote it down. I need to look up and find more information on this, that there may be some kind of, because there is another museum that's on Cape Canaveral. However, Cape Canaveral being an Air Force station, it's not allowed access even for retirees. It's purely operational. There's no BX, no commissary. Everything there that supports Cape Canaveral is down at Patrick Air Force Base, where we were just at. We finally got into the Space Coast Inn recently and stayed there for 3 nights. And I had never been on Patrick Air Force Base. I'm retired Air Force, so I can get on it. But this is kind of interesting. It's an old Gemini console here. They've got it all back in restored condition. You've got the phone, and you've got actually an image of it from when they first picked it up. And this is from the Gemini program. Gemini would hold 2 astronauts very early on. It was kind of one of the forgotten crewed space programs between Mercury and Apollo, but Gemini is where we learned how to do multi-crewed missions and dock and do EVA and do all those things they needed to know how to do before they went to the moon. More Gemini hardware. This is That's interesting. They made it into a plaque. This looks like some kind of periscope. I'm not even sure what it is. But it's got Gemini logo on it. Here is, this looks like another re-entry cone, probably from ICBM. They've got some re-entry cones. We were told that this one, probably that looks very beat up, was from an ICBM test that was recovered from They shoot ICBMs from Vandenberg Air Force Base periodically and recover them in Kwajalein.
Sometimes you're so knowledgeable, they're asking if you have Asperger's because you're such a space geek here and you've got all this knowledge in your head. He is my person. His mom had him tested.
Use Sheldon's answer to it.
But it is like having the Staples Easy button if you're married to someone who's as into space as he is. He definitely knows.
I'm learning stuff every day. I mean, there's stuff I had never seen this kind of re-entry shield before here. And like from the dinosaur program, I didn't know they conducted those sorts of tests. So I learn stuff every day too. It's one of those things, space knowledge and science and astronomy, it's such a deep dive like most fields in astronomy. The deeper you go into it, it's a lifelong learning pursuit. The deeper you dive into it, the more you realize it's like there are some really amazing experts out there. All right.
Thanks for the hearts, folks.
Thank you. Here's some more hardware. This is more, we're getting into current stuff, what's flying right now, what's been launching and what's going to launch. Here is the SpaceX Falcon 1, Falcon 9 rocket. Incidentally, SpaceX is going to attempt, I haven't seen the date for this yet.
Lots of hearts.
They're doing a satellite launch coming up here from Cape Canaveral sometime in December. They haven't set a date yet. But one thing that's interesting is they're going to try to land this bottom stage that they've been trying to land on a barge. It's got these little kick legs that go out, and they haven't been successful landed on a barge. They've got the Air Force's approval to try to land it here at Cape Canaveral on this next launch. So they're going to actually try to bring it back and land it on land sometime, in the year is running out. They say sometime in December. It's December 10th right now. So we've got about 3 more weeks, somewhere in the next 3 weeks. And it's rumored they want to do, Elon Musk wants to do crewed missions with the Falcon 9, sending astronauts actually up in the Falcon 9 in 2017. And it's almost we're a few weeks away from 2016, so that's not far away. So that's pretty ambitious. But
is that Elon Musk's company? Yes.
Yes, SpaceX.
Okay.
Yes.
Someone's asking. Okay.
Yes. And this will be their return to flight too with SpaceX. They suffered a failure of the last resupply mission going up to the ISS. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. I'm just kind of talking on the fly. And we got some more recently. I have the intercom go off here. We got the Atlas 5s in the different configuration, the 401 configuration, 431, 551. Yes, when I was doing a hangout the other day, it's hard to stand there and hold the phone up like for half an hour like this.
I'm hanging tough.
When I did the launch, I had it set on a tripod, so I could just sit here and be like all out and around and stuff, and it's
okay.
It looks weird to have a phone on a tripod, but finally back around here, we have and I may seem smart, but I'm just reading it off the placard. We have the Loki Dart Weather Rocket Launcher. This is actually kind of cool. This actually looks like something you could put in your backyard, kind of.
I'm going to back up a smidge.
Like doing little rocket launches and stuff like that. But
someone's saying I need a selfie stick. I need a selfie stick too.
We have one.
If I have my glasses, I do. Actually, we do, but it's not here with us.
Yeah.
So whoever you are, I don't have my reading glasses on. I can read comments, but not the names yet because I didn't bring in my readers.
Is there any more questions popping up or?
No, it was just that selfie stick comment. Any final questions, guys? This is your chance.
Yeah, so we'll probably about another minute or so we'll shut this one down. But
cool.
Because that's what it is. That's what there is this room, and it's kind of a neat little area outside. But if you're ever in
where the Saturn rockets do? Someone wants to say that. Someone's just asking a general Saturn rocket question.
The Saturn rockets were used. We have one right here.
Now, these are just models, right? Obviously, the big Saturn, like the one over at KFC, is massive. So.
And this is a Saturn 1, so it doesn't have the final stage on it. But the Saturn 5 was used to take astronauts to the moon. That was the rocket used to go to the moon. In the very last mission, it had more of a stubby configuration like this, minus the big final stage on it. Was used in the Apollo Test Soyuz project in 1977. I remember watching that as a kid, where they that was the very final mission of the Apollo program. Then we transitioned over to the shuttle program.
Okay, want to do a quick pan around? We'll just see.
Yeah, sure.
Quick pan, final pan at the museum. Actually, they've got a good little setup here, and these floors are pretty comfy to walk on. All right, got lots of hearts going on. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Excellent.
All right.
Off button is.